you guys, what is that? Those things that's going across the railroad tracks there? Those great big metal structures?
You know, funny you should ask what that exactly is. What are those structures?
Those are known as high and wides on the railroad, okay? And what they're going to do, well, a little specification, what they do is they're 17 feet, a minimum of 17 feet high. Okay, so it's going to look for anything that's too high to go into tunnels or under bridges or something like that. And they also measure the width. Okay, it has to be 11 feet from the center rail of the center of the car or the center of a rail car. Okay, that's going to make sure that load's not too wide. Now, also on these bridges, there's infrared sensors that are checking for this. And what they're also going to look for is a shifted load. Okay, if a load shifts or an intermodal car is shifted. Okay, it also has clearance detectors. A little lower, that's going to make sure that if anything that the top misses, it makes sure that anything that may be hanging off the bottom of the car or the frame of the car clears a platform or clears a bridge. That's basically what it is. So it has to be 17 foot minimum from the top of the rail. And then we have our width detector 11 feet from the center of a car out. Okay?
Now, ironically, in the 1940s is when they started rolling out these particular high and wide detectors. Then in the 1960s, Seaboard Airline, not the airline itself like a plane, but the airline railroad started making it to where the defect detectors were very vocal and they became more audible. Also, back in the 40s, they used to have what they called brittle bars, because it wasn't as sophisticated like they did in the 90s where they have the optics and the lasers and all that kind of stuff. So if a train was too wide, it would break the brittle bar, and that would give a notification saying, hey, there is an issue. Now, normally you're going to find these particular high and wides usually near bridges or tunnels or something along that has a really confined space. Just imagine like a container door was flying wide open and it winds up hitting a tunnel, like a tunnel entrance. You could degrade the integrity of the tunnel. It's going to cause damage, or it could possibly create a derailment. Or like on a bridge, the door could swing and hit the side of the bridge. It could shift, as you were mentioning, shift the load. It could fall off, it could fall behind and possibly take another car behind it, and then it could derail on the bridge, which then could derail and put that particular car into a river or whatever water passage that it was going past and cause a big issue. Now, keeping in mind, we've always talked about how the public can be safe and paying attention to different things along the railroad and reporting suspicious things. This is one way the railroad themselves keep themselves safe, and because last time I checked, we didn't have eyeballs in the back of our head looking down 3 miles. Also, there's no longer a caboose. So somebody has to look out for it. So they have all these different particular wayside detectors looking for defects all along the railroad, trying to keep the train crew safe as they make their route wherever they're going.
Now, I think most railroads, probably this one, they do a real-time timestamp of the cars going by. They count the axles. If there's anything untoward or not, it'll send in real time with the GPS stamp up to the engineer's box saying, you know, wayside detector number 122, whatever it is, no defects. Or you have axle 122 is untoward, and that would let the conductor know, who has to get out of the cab and walk down the train to find it and correct the problem, hopefully.
So many different ways of protecting themselves along the railroad tracks. Does that answer your question on exactly what this is?
It does. So basically, to sum it all up, it's going to detect anything that may be too high from a train going underneath it, or something that is too wide going through it.
I dig it. All right, we don't want you to go down the wrong side of the track. We just want you to be rail aware and
Be safe.